Hi, welcome to Hey Parents, Let's Chat. I am Jess Hunt, and today I wanted to have a conversation about kids in public. And I wanted to tackle how important it is to take kids out in public, um, some of the things that they can learn while they're out in public with us, and what to do when they misbehave, um, and even how we parents can support each other when we're all out with our kids in public. And so I wanted to tackle, like for instance, errands and grocery shopping. Lots of times, whether you're a stay at home mom or you're a working mom, sometimes it's just easier to just go and get the grocery shopping done when the dad is home or on weekends, and you can just go by yourself with the kids and have a brain break, or you might be on your way home from work and that's the easiest way to do it. And I get it lots of times. Sometimes even that's necessary. We just need some time to ourselves to do an errand without having to lug kids out of car seats, and I get that. And once in a while, it's necessary for our sanity. But I do want to emphasize how important it is to get kids out there, going out to dinner, going into the bank, going and running into the store, going doing a full trip of grocery shopping. There is so much learning to be had. Great learning for the kids, but it's also great learning opportunities for us parents because we're exposed to them when they are behaving, when they're not behaving. We are becoming better parents the more we have to deal with all of these different situations. But the learning for the kids is just astronomical. No matter what age your child is, you could have, just a baby or a toddler or a school age child. All of these ages, taking your kids and doing the errands, they learn so much. When they're younger, they're learning colors. Would you like a red apple or a green apple? They're learning how to count. We want a bunch of bananas that's going to have 5 bananas. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oop, this one's good. Put it in the cart. They're learning how to take turns. They're learning how to wait in line. They are learning good manners as you say please and thank you to the lady or the man at the deli counter. They're learning kindness when you say, "Oops, excuse me," or "Oops, sorry, didn't mean to get in your way." They are learning language. They are learning communication. They're learning kindness. There is so much learning to be had. They're learning how to be patient as you wait in line. And there are going to be times when, kids misbehave. It happens. And so I always used to have just a bag of tricks in my back pocket. Whenever we went to the deli, I would always get a package of cheese, for instance, that I knew that they could snack on. It's already weighed. There's a label right on there. Who cares how much cheese they eat while we're shopping because I'm going to pay for it anyway. Or if they like a particular snack, then I might bring it with them so that they can be snacking, and that way it's keeping them a little bit busy. One of my friends had this ingenious idea of getting a Tupperware container with a pad of a Lego, flat Lego thing on top of the container, and then you put the Legos on the inside, and that way they can be playing with the Legos, which that would be probably for an older child that's beyond the throwing stage and certainly isn't going to choke on the pieces of Legos. But it's a great little tool to bring, whether you're going to a restaurant or, doing errands. Keeps them busy, keeps them occupied. And it's just something you can pull out in an emergency, not something that they can count on as having all of the time. But one of the things I do want to point out is rewarding children for good behavior is a technique that will often backfire. For instance, there are parents that will take their kids grocery shopping or running into a Walmart to do their shopping or whatever, and they will say, "If you behave, then I will buy you a toy while we're in there." And that's one of those techniques that's not fabulous because number one, they're learning how to behave just to get the toy, not because it's expected or it feels good to behave. Or if they are throwing a temper tantrum in the middle of the store and you say to them, if you stop and you behave, then I will buy you something. Well, what they're learning is while I'm at the store, I'm going to get something. If I misbehave first, then she's going to say I can have something once I can reel it in and start behaving. Kids are smart enough to learn these things. And so those techniques I find to be really good backfiring experiences for you. Um, but if you are engaging them while you're shopping and communicating with them and having them help you with the shopping, do we want to get these crackers or get these crackers? They're becoming part of the decision making process. They're helping you, they're engaged, and they are learning so much along the way that it is just so beneficial. Now, I know that there are times when we could have a baby that starts screaming. I know that I've been in the middle of the grocery store with a baby, grocery cart full of groceries. I've had to leave my groceries, run out, do a quick breastfeeding, nursing thing, changing of a diaper, and then running back in and finishing my grocery shopping. Is it ideal? No. Is it embarrassing? Hell yes. But that's a part of parenting. And I think it's probably just something that we parents go through. All parents are going to understand. I think I would rather, as a parent, take care of the child's needs by going and, doing a quick breastfeeding session or a quick diaper change, rather than being like, oh my gosh, if this baby can wait just 20 minutes, I can finish up and then go change them and then deal with a screaming baby for 20 minutes. That's no fun. Or you might even have like a 2-year-old that decides to throw an absolute fit in the middle of the grocery store. Okay, don't want to expose the public to this huge temper tantrum, so I literally have left my grocery cart, picked up my 2-year-old with, I remember having like a baby in a little baby carrier. We hauled his butt, and I say we, I mean me, hauled his butt out into the car until he was ready to behave because he needed to learn. That's not appropriate behavior when we are in the grocery store. And if you're going to be in the grocery store, you need to be using good manners and proper behavior and appropriate voice levels. You're not going to be screaming. And then when he was ready to behave, we would go back in and we would finish our grocery shopping trip. And I know I'm not the only parent that's had that happen to them. So parents understand. And at the same time, children are learning. It's appropriate behavior in the grocery store if I behave this way. It's not appropriate if I behave this way. And they're never going to learn those things if they're not just exposed to those opportunities. And so while it might be easier to do it on the way home from work or do it when dad's home or do it on the weekend when I can have a babysitter, sure, that's easier and once in a while it's necessary. But doing what is easiest is not always what's in the best interest of the child, or even frankly, you as a parent. They need exposure to these different types of situations. Same thing like with restaurants. Take your kids out to restaurants. We didn't do it all of the time, but when we did do it, we did it thoughtfully. We went to, appropriate restaurants. We didn't go to super fancy restaurants when our kids were younger, but we did go to restaurants that were family friendly, and the children learned how to behave, how to order their food, how to wait patiently. And again, I always had like my little bag of emergency. I might have brought a bag of goldfish so that while they're waiting for dinner, they could snack on their goldfish, or, this little Lego container that I spoke of earlier. That way, in an emergency, if there's something going on that need a distraction or a redirect, I can just pull something out of my bag, and it is a helpful distraction for them while they might be having some sort of, little meltdown or whatever. If you have, a 1-year-old that is getting a little bit fussy, there are times when one of us would have to pick him or her up and then just wander around the restaurant looking at pictures, looking out the windows, just to get the baby moving and distract them until the food came. And while this might be an inconvenience, these are all learning opportunities for the children, and they're necessary. While you are at the table, you are learning about manners, and they are listening to you have conversations with whoever you might be at dinner with. They are learning how to be polite to the waitress or the waiter. They're learning how to wait for their food, and they might be listening to you. You might be drawing with them. I always had like a little notepad with some crayons or markers in my bag of little tricks and, toys in my little bag. Here's how we're going to learn to play tic-tac-toe if they're a little bit older. They're going to learn X's and O's. They're going to learn strategy. They're going to learn games. They're going to learn how to entertain themselves. You might have two siblings who you are both giving them crayons and something to draw with while you and whoever you're with are having conversations. The one thing that just makes me so sad is when I go to restaurants and I see an entire family looking at screens. And I've seen this, oh my gosh, over and over again. I have seen moms and dads with little ones, and the little ones got an iPad propped right up in front of them. And each of the parents are on their phones. I have seen a family, we were at a seafood restaurant, and they must have had like 6 kids. They were ranging from like 6 to 16. They were all on phones. And I was astonished. A family with that many people, and you're all looking at your phones or a screen? And I just thought, oh my gosh, all of these learning opportunities are being completely missed because they're just staring at phones. So I wanted just to have a conversation with the importance of taking your kids out in public, exposing them to different situations, and all of the learning that goes involved with all of it. Now, I also do think that we parents need to be really supportive of each other. I know that there's lots of parents that don't take their kids out to restaurants. They don't take them to the grocery store because they're so afraid of the misbehavior and what other parents are going to think of them. That's not an excuse. Get out there, go do it. And it's sort of incumbent on us parents to really be supportive of each other. And I'm reminded of a story that a friend recently told me. She was out shopping, and her kids are older, and so she's been through it all, but she was walking out of the store to her car, and she was passing a mother, and there was like a 7-year-old that was maybe like 10 or 15 steps behind the mom, and the mom is saying to the kid, "You'd better be right behind me. We're in a rush. Let's go." And my friend was passing this woman, and the woman was horrified that my friend had heard that. Horrified. She was clearly embarrassed. And my friend noticed the expression. And my friend said to this woman, "You know, I've had days where I literally have told the kids right up front, this is one of those you'd better jump days. And when I say jump, you better jump because we've got a lot to do and I don't have time for you to be spending 5 minutes putting one shoe on." And she said to the woman, "If I were you, I would tell her she better jump and be in the car, otherwise you're leaving without her. And do it." And the woman was like, wow. She felt the relief. My friend could see the relief went on the woman's face. Like, oh my gosh, I'm not the only mom that goes through this. And here's a mom who's not judging me. And she's actually supporting me. And I feel like we moms need to have a little bit more of that. So I need to take a pause moment here and just clarify that we are under no circumstances suggesting that moms just leave their children in parking lots when they're not listening. That's not what the point of that story was, and I just don't want any hate mail from moms who are thinking that that's what I'm suggesting. But there are moments where I do think that you as a parent, if you've got a child who's not listening, and you say to them, if you are not, with me or whatever, then I'm leaving, then you have to actually back that up and you need to do it. And I would, but I wouldn't just leave them. I would get in the car and I would drive off with my rearview mirror watching them as they're probably responding with a little bit of panic. And I might drive around the parking lot, stop, make them sweat for a minute, and then circle back, all knowing where they are with them in view. Well, they might not see my car because I've gone a couple lanes over, but I'd make them sweat. I'd make them learn from it. and then I would just circle back around, maybe stop at the end of the lane and have them come back to wherever I am, so that they learn that lesson within the safety of a parking lot, that you are keeping an eye on them. So that they're learning their lesson within a safe environment. We are by no means encouraging moms to be leaving their children in parking lots. So I just felt like I needed to clarify so I don't get hate mail. There are days when, you know what, we don't have time to spend 10 minutes figuring out which pair of shoes to wear. And we might just say, I need to be in the car in 5 minutes. Get your shoes on, get what snacks you want, and get in the car. Go. And they better be jumping. And of course, this is for older kids who know better. We're not talking about 2-year-olds. But there are times that kids need to learn. It's not all about them. Sometimes it's about us and our needs. And sometimes they just have to get with the program and get moving. And also, we moms just have to be mindful and supportive of each other while we're in public. And if you see a mom struggling, just smile. Perhaps offer a kind word, like my friend offered to this woman in the middle of a parking lot. And it's just something that I think we can do as supportive parents, to be kind to each other and offer each other a little grace, because our lives as parents are hard. They're tricky. We are not always going to be the picture perfect mom, and nor should we be. We're human. And it's okay that the kids see us rushing and having to do things quick and needing them to jump when we say jump every once in a while, because that's life. And they need to learn that the world doesn't revolve around them. Sometimes it's about our needs too. So much for kids to learn by going out in public, going shopping with us, going to restaurants, going to the bank. So while every once in a while it might be the easy road for us, and I get it, sometimes we need to take the easy road, but for the most part, we really want to offer our kids as many opportunities as we can. To get as much done with them in public as possible. There's so much learning for them, and again, for us too. So I hope that you have found benefit from this video. Hit subscribe, like, follow us, share this video with others if it's helpful, and definitely add your comments. You can go to heyparentsletschat.com, where you can see all of our videos and add comments if you'd like there. And until our next video, I want to thank you for joining us.